absolutely.
So, Stephen, now let's get really to the real meat of why we brought you here today.
Yeah.
And I'll start by saying that, and you'll appreciate this, I think, Steve. I currently have in my garage a 1973 BSA Thunderbolt.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm going to go get a cup of tea.
Cafe bars, going through it, getting it going, getting it up and running.
I smell testosterone.
So, exactly. It smells a little bit like gasoline and oil in here right now.
Gasoline and caffeine.
So tell us, you have a project called Caffeine and Gasoline, a film project. So take it away, man. I'm ready to hear it.
I want to hear
a fan.
all the deets.
Tell us about that
Awesome.
project.
Yes, Caffeine and Gasoline, evolution of the American rocker. I have been riding motorcycles for a really long time. I love them. I love vintage motorcycles, especially BSAs, Triumphs, BMWs, Thruxtons. I love vintage motorcycles. So it's probably been about 10 or 12 years now, I started building cafe racers, finding old, beat-up Hondas that were derelicts, in some junkyard, and piecing them together and turning them into something really cool. And cafe racers are basically stripped-down motorcycles that are meant for speed, as fast as they could be for a mid-'70s motorcycle, that came out of post-World War II London, basically. These were youths that couldn't afford brand-new motorcycles. They would take an old Triumph and tweak it and customize it and make it their own, and that's kind of where it started. The term cafe racer, the term cafe racer started with these kids having get-togethers at little diners on the interstates that were just popping up at that time, and they would put a coin in the jukebox and race to the next cafe and back before the song ended.
Right.
So the term cafe racers evolved out of that, and the style of the bike was this stripped down bike, because the more stuff you could take off of it, the faster you could make it, and you would try and get there and back doing what they called the ton, which was 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Which doesn't seem very fast now, but in late 60s on a bike that was probably only meant to go about 90 to 100 miles an hour, hitting 100 miles an hour on it was pretty fast.
It feels really fast on those bikes, by the way, 100 miles an hour.
It absolutely does.
With the wind in your hair.
Yes.
Exactly. So what inspired me to do this was talking to people and saying, hey, I build cafe racers, and people just kind of giving me this confused look, like, what is that?
Yeah.
So I'd spend, a good 5 minutes like I just did explaining it, and then they would be like, oh, that's really cool. So I would, I thought to myself, this is something that I think would be really fun to tell, and talk about the history a little bit, talk about its evolution over the course of the last few decades, and where is it now? Because I actually ride with a couple of groups here in New Mexico that sport this style and the kind of bike, the Duke City Rockers, who have been around for about 6 years now, and they all ride that style of bike. And then there's a couple of other groups popping up across the state, the Desert Ace Rockers in Las Cruces, who just had an event a couple weekends ago. And there's sort of a resurgence going on. Cafe Racer TV now has a show and a magazine that's dedicated to it. And I thought, well, now's a good time to tell this story and put it out there and interview some of the people involved and let them tell their story. And it's just been an amazing project. The support has been unbelievable across the country. I've had people contact me that have heard about it, and they just want to be a part of it.
It's really awesome. I have to tell you that when I was a kid, I wanted a motorcycle, and my mother said no. And my brother and I, we managed to buy a couple of dirt bikes for like $50 a piece, and we hid them in the woods. And we would sneak out, and we would go down to the woods, and we'd ride the wheels off of those dirt bikes.
You bad boys.
Hide them in the woods and go home and smile at my mom.
Bad boys. I love it.
So it's been in my blood, and
I smell a bromance.
Yes,
I really do.
I
smell a bromance.
This is my favorite
We're
show.
We're going to go ride. We're going to go ride sometime.
I was actually going to do the Duke City ride last year, and of course I work in the film industry, so I got the call at the last moment to go do something. I had signed up for it and was going to bring a bike down, and I didn't get to go. But it's
an amazing event, and this past year was their 6th year, and It was bigger than any of the others by far, and it's just a great group of people. It's not just guys, Belle. It's several ladies have custom bikes that they have made themselves and ride. And
oh my God, I love that.
There's nothing
beautiful
hotter.
Bikes.
There's nothing hotter than a girl that rides a bike.
Okay, that's it.
I have to agree.
I'm going to sign up. Is there a
That's
website for lessons?
There is a website, yes.
Steve, we didn't do justice to your resume today, and I apologize. I wanted to get to the motorcycle stuff.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
But
this is an amazing project, though.
Yes, it is. Caffeine and Gasoline, and go to the website. Do you have a website yourself?
I do have a site. It's Orange Films, Orange with a Y, films.com, and there is a landing page there that we're developing to promote the film. And we also use Facebook, obviously, because so many people use Facebook to get their information, and then the crowdfunding site.
Thanks, Steve. We really appreciate your joining us today.
Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
I'll see you out on the road.
Me. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for New Mexico Film as well. It's a great show.
Thank you.
And look forward to talking to you soon. And we'll get that bike out.
Yes.
And go for a ride there.
Let's do that.
Romance.
All right. I'm ready. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
You're listening to FilmWorks on KBSF 101.5, the voice of Santa Fe.
We'll be right back.